You know, I didn't ask for this life. I never asked to be born. I never asked to be my skin color configuration. I never asked to go through this hellish realm. A lot of people like to gaslight themselves and say that it's their fault, or other people around them gaslight them and make them believe that it's their fault. It's not your fault, brother. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say. I want you to really take this in seriously. The fact that you're in a position in this world where you can't really thrive, you can't survive, and you're getting eaten alive by all these evil entities and forces you can't see, is simply because whoever, whatever created this realm, who thought it was a good idea to put a bunch of people of different types of skin color configurations on a small planet with limited resources and give us short lifespans and make our bodies so weak you can pass away from sickness and cancer, and people that you loved your whole life, they can just leave your life and you will never see them or talk to them again in the blink of an eye, in an instant. Whoever created all that is the one to be blamed. Think about just this. If our lifespans were 10,000 years, you would think after 10,000 years, when people can live that long, eventually they'll come to some type of, I'm not going to say a truce, but they'll come to some type of understanding that constant warfare is not good for the planet. But knowing how the Archons are, it'll just be 10,000 years of warfare like it's Warhammer 40K. But what I'm saying is that this world always tries to make you feel small and that it's your fault that you're in a certain position. But it's not your fault. You didn't want to go to that 9 to 5. You didn't want to go to that college. You didn't want to go to that school. You didn't want to do it. You wanted to be an artist. You wanted to create and innovate, and this world destroyed you for it. The same thing happened to me. I wanted to be an artist. There was also a painter that came from Austria that wanted to be an artist as well. And he became one of the most powerful men in the last 100 years, you know. And when you're in a world where everybody around you, they look at you like you're nothing. They wonder why, how come you're not in the wagey, you know what I mean? Or how come you're not a wage servant or whatever? Like, how come, what's wrong with you? This, that, and this, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, first of all, it's extremely difficult finding a job. Second of all, if I can just do what I really want to do in life and have the right people connected with me, I can make a lot of freaking money. I know it. I believe it. I believe in myself when it comes to certain creations and escalations. I believe in myself when it comes to music. I've been doing this for such a long time, brother. I believe in myself, and I truly believe that the reason why I didn't make it in this world is simply because of my skin color configuration. You know what I mean? That you may say, like, what? It's like, it's true. If my skin color configuration was Eurocentric, I guarantee you everybody will be buying my music. I guarantee you people will want to buy beats. I guarantee you people will be supporting. People will be, wanting to donate. People will be wanting to do this. People will be, you'll have 10 times the views. You'll have 10 times the likes. You'll have more comments. You'll have everybody, like you have girls coming out of nowhere hitting you up. You guys seen on I think Rehab Room made a video where it's that one nerdy guy. He was like from Sweden, and he made a video about being an ugly, unattractive guy. And the video blew up. It got tens of millions of views. And then like one of the commenters was this girl, and she commented and said, I think you look, you're cute or whatever." Woo, woo. And then he hit her up, and I think she got a passport or something like that, or she got like her equivalent of the green card. They go over there, he got the girl pregnant. They have a daughter. And even when he was like going to the hospital or whatever, the doctors were being mean towards him because of lookism, the way he looked. And he had the same skin color as them, but it wasn't about that. It was about the looks as well. But when you have the negative looks and you have a negative type of skin color configuration, that makes it even 10 times harder. You know that I'm not just talking out my arse, right? It makes life extremely difficult. But I don't know, man. It's just like I'm just thinking, and I'm just like, Do you know how many times people looked at me like I was incompetent, like I was lazy, like I was a loser and a failure, when that wasn't it at all? I just need to be around certain people who made music. Cash Money AP, KBZ, people like that. People that make music for a living. If I was around them, they would have seen my genius. They would have seen my greatness. They would have tried to help me. They would have seen this guy's a good rapper. This guy knows how to write. This guy's good. Oh, this guy's dope. He got talent. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, bro. Oh heck yeah. And then their fans become my fans. Then I blow up. My name gets bigger. I start understanding what a digital asset is. I start understanding what's assets that appreciate over time and over value. And I start making money when I sleep. Right. That's what the rich do. The rich make money when they sleep. So basically what I'm saying is that I didn't have the proper structuring. I know a lot of us, a lot of people in this position, we didn't have the proper structuring for our talents, meaning that we weren't in the right environment that was conducive to nurturing and cultivating our talents. You have to be around the right people in life that can nurture and cultivate your talent. If you can sing, then you got to be around the right people who know what to do with that. Because if you can just sing in your room and then, and nothing really happens, you got to be around the right people. Trying to do everything by yourself in this world, most guys like us, we're forced to do it, but it makes life 1,000 times more harder. Life is a lot more easier when you have a team and you guys are working for the same goal. That's why when you go to your job every day, it's not just you. It's you and your coworkers, your boss, your managers, the upper management, human resource. There's a whole group of people working for, a corporation. And everybody has the same goal, is to try to keep the corporation alive so that way they can get the money that they need to survive. But one thing I just don't like, I don't like how people will look down upon you because they think that you should fit it into a box. You should fit into a certain mold. And if you don't fit that exact mold, you don't fit that exact box, then they automatically call you lazy. They call you a loser. They think you don't do nothing. It's like, you don't know what the hell I do. You don't know what I do. You don't know how talented I am. Do you not know that there's a demiurge and there's archons who look and see me and they know my soul is strong, my soul is pure, my soul is great, and they don't want me to ever realize that? Do you not know the Gnostic text talks about how the archons are jealous of us because of our creative innovation and passion? That's why they want you degraded every day. That's why they want you repeating the same cycle every day. You wake up, go here, wake up, go here, wake up, go here, go to sleep. That they want you repeating the same predictable cycle. But somebody like me who wants to be happy in life, you gotta understand. The God of this realm doesn't want you to be happy, because if you're happy in life, that raises your vibrational frequency to a higher elevation, meaning that you can start getting out of his realms of control. You got to think of the world with vibrations, energies, and frequencies. You understand? And I give you an example. Have you ever just walked into a room and you can tell the energy shifts as soon as you walk in? Whether people get mad, they get angry, or they were laughing, then you come in and they be quiet, That's an energy shift. That's frequencies and energies, being fluctuating, right? So the God of this realm, he doesn't want us happy. He wants us miserable on purpose, because our misery, it releases these negative energies such as sadness, sorrow, depression, and these beings, they feed off of it. They literally eat it, like how you eat a hamburger from McDonald's, with a fries and a Sprite or a root beer. My favorite is root beer. When you when you release these negative emotions, they have more control over you. Do you know when you get angry, you get mad, you kind of just lose control? You actually go insane for a bit. When you get mad, you get angry. These beings feed off of that. They put you in certain situations so they can feed off of you. We don't live in some random world that was just created randomly out of chaos. This world was created with a specific purpose, and the specific purpose is Loosh. It's Loosh, Loosh, Loosh harvesting. Okay? Loosh energy harvesting. And what is Loosh? Loosh is the negative energetic manifestation or frequency that's released from the soul when the human soul experiences traumatic events, experiences pain and agony. This is why you keep going through the same things in life. You're always finding yourself with no woman. You're always finding yourself broke. You work, and you still can't get out the hole, because the system is designed to keep you broke. You make 100 grand, you got to pay 30, 40 grand, almost half what you made in taxes. So you made 100 grand, but really you're going to take home maybe 60 or 50, which is a lot. But at the same time, it's like, If you're living in a house, you got a mortgage, you got a car note, you got, you may got kids, you may got a wife that want to go on a vacation to Barcelona, Spain, or whatever. And so there's a lot that, so it's like, but when it comes to the Illuminati elites, they don't tax themselves. They only tax the poor. The billionaires, they have a thing called the Black Budget Program. Something people don't really know about, but the Black Budget Program is how they're able to move a lot of bread or a lot of money so they can do their secret evil activities. Meanwhile, if you take $5 out your bank account, they're going to know the date, the time, where the location. They're going to know everything about you. But when they created Area 51, they started making classified cloning labs and cloning facilities and sensitive installations. When they start doing that, watch a movie called The Island. There's a movie called The Island which talks about that. And it's funny how it's called The Island after all the Epstein things came out. But it's a movie called The Island that talks about human cloning and the integration and proliferation of that in the secret sectors. Understand? You can't just watch TV and think you're watching like a real person like you and me, right? When you watch these Fox News hosts, everybody's been indoctrinated to the agenda. You don't even know that's even a real person. It could be a shape-shifting reptilian. I know it sounds ridiculous when you first hear it. I know, because it sounded ridiculous when I first heard it. But when I did my study, research, and analyzation, a shape-shifting reptilian has been around for thousands of years. Ancient Romans talked about it. I'm serious, right? The book of Enoch talks about these beings, the watchers that came down and they slept with these women and created these giants and these monsters and these evil things. And these giants and these monsters, they weren't just, big, some of them, may have been smarter than others, but they weren't just dumb, right? There was ones that were really intelligent. They created secret little biogenetics facilities. They were mixing human DNA with animal DNA. They were impregnating things that shouldn't be impregnated. They were creating different little sections in cities. Like, look, there's a thing called the Smithsonian Museum, right? Look into the Smithsonian Museum and how the Smithsonian hides giant bones. They hide things of that nature. They hide, certain things. If an aircraft that's unidentified falls down, they block off the whole area where you can't go. Do you know there's a rule in the national parks where you can't shoot drones over the national parks without quote unquote permission, but in some parks it's really just all out illegal? Dave Paulides talks about this. He talks about his Can-Am missing 411. When people go missing in the woods and people disappear and under strange circumstances, which is, it's not humanly possible. So what I'm saying is that this world is mixed with mysteries and secrets and deception. Why would a good God not just be real with you? If this God had good intentions, our life would be good. Your life wouldn't be bad right now unless this God wanted your life to be bad. Think about the things you go through. Think about how you have to fight every day for survival. You have to fight every fucking day. Right? Think about that. Is that normal to you? Does that make sense to you? In the Gnostic text, it talks about how the demiurge, not secretly, but he envies mankind. And he actually despises humans. He doesn't like us because we represent a power that he doesn't control. Remember, this God is a jealous God, and a jealous person is a narcissist. So when this God knows that our souls, this God did not create our souls. This is why we don't connect with this God. Read the Bible. And remember when that one person, he touched the Ark of the Covenant, and this God eliminated him in an instant. He touched the Ark of the Covenant so the Ark of the Covenant wouldn't fall, and this God immediately neutralized him. Do you think a God who's been around for 500 quadrillion trillion years, aeons and aeons of time, is going to be that immature and that petty? You don't think he could read that person's heart and say, oh, he was just trying to save it so it won't fall to the ground. Okay, that's fine. No, he immediately went to the blade, the edge of the sword. He immediately went to that. Does that sound like a mature, responsible, godlike being, or sound like a tyrant with power? Or does it sound like Emperor Caligula snatching your wife up to do his sick, twisted pleasures? This being has designed an evil realm, a multiple design realm, a multifaceted realm, which is critically designed to break our spirits down. We are divine lights and divine sparks. I can't stand when my intelligence is insulted, when somebody thinks, oh, you're not trying hard enough, you're not this, are you looking for a job here, are you doing this, are you doing that, are you doing this, are you doing that, knowing damn well that if Top Dog would have found me, I would have been famous as Kendrick Lamar. right? If I had the right people in my life, that this God made sure that I didn't go around. You know, every person that I made music with, it never amounted to anything. It's like a curse. Every time I make music with somebody, every time I do this, a beat, whatever, like I sell a beat here and there, and it never really leads to anything. You telling me that's not a curse? Nick Mayer and Taz Taylor made hit records on day one, damn near, right? See how certain things are put in place, like a puzzle piece for things to flow in motion. Remember, this God is not new to this. He's been looshing us for thousands, hell, possibly millions, or hell, maybe even billions of years. He's been doing this for a long time. This God has a system that's designed to torment you. So when people talk about going to hell, we're already in hell. Look around. You're in hell right now. Have you seen the Epstein files? You know, even before the file, it shouldn't take the government to show you some files so you can know that they're doing some Illuminati stuff. Now, all these people are talking about, I remember back in 2009, everybody said, oh, there's no such thing as Illuminati, that's fake. And it's like, are you crazy, bro? I'm reading this book from 1972 that talks about secret societies from the societies themselves. There's books that they've written. There's books Rockefeller written talking about taking over the world. You know, there's a movie, I think it's called Rothschilds Take Over the. It's something like it's an older movie. It came out in 1934, so that's when the Führer was in maximum power, pretty much, and pretty much it shows this person of the Shikos telling his sons to go and start banks in all different areas of the world, and then that way we can take over the world and infiltrate and spread our Shikos, right? And you got to think about it. I gotta speak in coded colored language, right? But if a certain Shiko is always kicked out of this many different type of countries, what does that tell you? Think about it, man. They're putting like, and you gotta think these are the chosen knights. These are the ones that are chosen by Yaldabaoth, right? And they're just like their god, wicked, evil, narcissistic, going around the world spreading war, destruction, corruption, sexual promiscuity, sexual irregularities. They're spreading all types of just things that are not conducive to a productive, fully functional society. A society needs sobriety, and sobriety, real sobriety. I'm not talking about illicit substances. I'm talking about spiritual sobriety. A society needs spiritual sobriety, which means that we need clarity. We need truth. We need wisdom. We need things that we can learn, that we can help each other out spiritually, economically. We need to build more stronger communities. When there's a man that doesn't have a job, there's somebody that should automatically, boom, help him get a job. Point blank, period. If there's somebody that can rap or they can make music, this is just somebody that can introduce them to this person, and they can get there. And they have to be really good though, and they can help them get started, help them build a little fan base, and help them make money doing what they love. You know why I'm in this position is because I'm not doing what I love in life, and I was never given the opportunity to do it. And I'm surrounded by everybody who absolutely despises me and doesn't want to see me win. So how can a man win when the world is against you, when the world turns its back against you? How can you win when you don't have any support? At least Kendrick Lamar had some support. He had a whole blood gang behind his back. He had Top Dog. He had all types of help and support. He signed with Dr. Dre and them. You know, he had help and support. Not saying that he didn't put no hard work. Of course he put a hard work in, but damn, hard work can take you so far if no one's going to help you. You can rap in the room for years, right? Trust me, I've been doing it for 20 years, bro. I started rapping in 2004. Some of you guys were born then, right? 2004 is when I started rapping. 2004 is 2026, and I still haven't made it. And I still refuse to give up. I refuse, because this is what I want. I'll do anything for it. Do you know how people think about me, talk about me? He's a loser, he's this, but it's like, if I'm such a loser, why don't you take a reflection and look at your life, right? At least I can rap. Can you rap? Can you write a song? Can you make a beat? Can you make a YouTube video, right? And my videos are not the highest quality because I'm not a YouTuber, bro. I just speak for my soul, homie. I'm not trying to do all this glitz and glamour. And I'm Mr. Beast, guys. Hi, welcome to Win the Sweepstakes. I'm not into that, but I'm into telling the truth. Realness, rawness, authenticity, right? And I keep being surrounded by fake beings, Why can't I meet somebody who's really serious about this music shit and we can actually go the distance? I can put my heart and soul into it and I can get a lot of freaking cash. Why can that happen? Why? Why not? Why can I have people that are just begging me to listen to my music? Begging to listen to my beats? Why? Why can I have that? Why can I have people that are ravenous about my talents? This is what's going to make me happy. But do you know why? Because once I become happy, the demiurge is going to have less and less and less type of control over me. So when I pass away, I'm not going to pass away with guilt, pass away with hatred, pass away with sorrow. I'll pass away peacefully knowing that I lived my best life and I'm going to try to escape to the pleroma, right? But the problem with this world is that it's designed in a way to keep you at a low vibrational frequency. It's designed in a way to keep you angry, to keep you mad, to keep you sad, to keep you always focused on things that are not really important. All the things that they tell us that are important in the world are temporary distractions that will be gone one day. One day, Rome, I think it was, what was it called? The denarii? I think the Roman coin called the denarii. That was one of the most important things. All the senators of Rome, the powerful men, had all the denarii. You know, emperors had all the denarii. Now denarii are nothing but ancient antiques. And now money itself, paper money, coin money, there's even some places that don't even accept change anymore like that. It either has to be cash or it has to be on a card. So now money's becoming digital. So now it's not even something physical you can hold anymore. Now it's something that somebody presses on a number, presses on a computer. Like, do you not see how like how humiliating that is and destabilizing that is for a divine being, for a being like us who are created, who are made in the image of the truest God, of the highest God, and of the essence of the Aeon Sophia, the same one that gave birth to Yaldabaoth and gave him his power and his confidence and arrogance. And we're supposed to create. This is why when you're like, have you ever been in that flow state? You know, when you're playing your favorite video game, you're just locked in and everything else just disappears around you. Like you don't even pay attention to your dog barking in the background or whatever. You know, you just focus on the game. Like, and then you feel like all your insecurities, all the negativities dissipate. They disappear and they go away just for that little time frame of 15 minutes. And the next thing you know, time flies by. Like, wow, that's that flow state. That's that almost peaceful state. And then you get reminded, oh, hell, you got to wake up in the morning. You got to go there. You got to do this. You got to do. And it's just, I can't stand the God of this world. He is truly my enemy and all of our enemies. If any God doesn't just come out from the sky and say, okay, this is what it is. This is what it is. This God, why is this God hiding from us? Why? Why do you have to pray to this God and ask this God and do this? Shouldn't this God already know what you need and what you're hurting? It's like he knows what you need, but he needs you to hurt so he can get your loosh. This God knows you want to make music for a living. He knows you don't want to be trapped around negative, evil people, but he'll put you in a situation where you're trapped around negative, evil people. Doesn't that seem intentional? Right? It's like I was watching there was this one person, and this is what I mean by my skin color configuration, right? Like it's like happened in Britain. It's called what was it called? It was some British, like, what was it called? The Bass. I don't even know the name of it, you know, but it was like some British thing where some person who like had Tourette's was screaming out, you know, certain inflammatory terms. And then people were saying, oh, it's because he has Tourette's. And it's like, okay, I understand that, right? But notice he didn't say anything about those with the shekos, or he didn't yell out, you know, fire, fire, fire in a crowded building. He specifically targeted that demographic. And notice how people are making excuses for it. Because my skin color configuration is the most disliked in the world. People know they do people who look like me wrong, and they don't care because they feel like we deserve it because, oh, they're criminals and they're thugs and they're mistreaters. Like, we're not all like that. Just like everybody in your skin color configuration is not the same. That's like saying every person of samurai descent is a samurai or a ninja with the shurikens and the black costume. That's just not true, right? That's like saying, certain skin color configurations behave in a certain type of way. Which, yeah, there's some truth to that. Of course, there's truth to it, right? You can't ignore reality. There's truth to that. But it's like when a certain demographic always gets targeted, and even the people of that demographic don't even want to be of that demographic, and they're forced to. That's hell, bro. You're being forced, and you're being punished and tortured for something you're not even involved in, but you're involved in based on your physical appearance and physical attributes. How is that a good thing? How is this a good God? When this God knows I can rap my ass off, knows I can make beats. And if I was around Nick Mara every single day, my beats would get better and I can actually sell them and make a lot of money. I can make up $5,000-$10,000 a month selling beats alone. This God don't want me to do that. Because I'll really go deep into Gnosticism then. I'll expose his whole God and I'll break down all of his angels, his Archangel Michael, who's an Archon, right? Lord Saturn, Lord Jupiter, I'll break them all down. These archons hide behind, you understand, word, like spelling is magic. You gotta understand that. That's why it's called spelling. Spell, you cast a spell with when you speak, and when you write things down, it's magic. That's why it's called spelling. Remember, the first written, well, according to the this is not Gnosticism. It's like the ancient. I think it was a Samaritan. What text? I forget what text it is, but I think it was the one of the first empires. It was a Samaritan empire they found. But one of those old texts that talks about how these beings came down and started showing men how to write certain spells and certain curses and certain things of that nature, and teaching them different types of magics, right? So you got to take that into consideration as well. And it's not just one, it's every single society. Native Americans, ancient Europeans, Asian continents, Arabia, like around the whole earth, they have the same type of creation, the same type of story where these beings come from another dimension and start, quote unquote, helping mankind. But the help turns into them basically turning mankind into their servants. And you got to understand the beings, entities that are running the world today. These are the same beings, entities that always ran this hell realm. And it's going to get worse.